Hi, my name is Dinesh Walsh, and this is the picture when I began 1 year, 3 or 4 months ago, doing the job, doing this style of things. Of course, that it was, for me, it was a situation with my cancer that makes me doing this because in the first, when I did the chemo in the day, I could not sleep, and my brain still going working a lot. And it was from where to recharge batteries uh, that have a different idea what happening here. It's not probably a different idea, but it's one more idea how you can keep energy in the when we are producing more than we need. For example, if you do 220 volts to 2010 and to 2030, after these numbers is dangerous for the electricity line, but from 200 to 210 to 220 uh, is okay, not very good, but it's okay. But 220, 230, all of the energy are not going to be used, are going to be lost. And it's that energy that I think is good to recharge stations like this one. It was my first idea. Now, and this time from my last job, I got another idea. That is, for the BID, is saying that this is a station from Shell and BID, that the car are recharging with 1000 volts. You already have in the market 400 volts, 600 volts, 800 volts. Well, what I think we can do to be easy, to have these different numbers, is to have different recharges, transformers. That goes to 400, 600, 800, 1000, and we'll save a lot in the charging units that we have a lot if we have the transformers for these values in volts. Is my second opinion about when I listen this thing. I don't know. I don't remember why. I remember now. It was from a cook that was making berries in the desert. This is why I begin this show. This is another situation. It's from a dam. And for example, one example, in China you have the big dam that is the biggest in the world, that have two small engines, these ones, and 30 big ones. And in summer or in hot weather, when they need to do a lot of electricity, they are not using all the 30. And one of the situations is to do electricity by electricity in these situations. We just got the speed for putting this thing working in position, and we switch on the engine for to go standard of moving this. And it means that we can have, if two are working with water, you can have 28 working with electricity. That will be between 1 and 5% of the energy that is produced with this. That from being stopped, they are producing electricity, 90% of the capacity at least. This is for air energy. Is another thing from we are using air compressors that we don't buy the air and we throw it away. We just spend electricity. That is the wrong way to do that because atmospheric air is like an air. Oxygen is air and we don't throw it away. Or hydrogen, that is well known for everybody to know that is a gas. And no one is throwing hydrogen away. We produce them. Because we don't need to separate atmospheric air, we just throw it away like it is here. And the way of making electricity, not in this case electricity, but making electricity by air or moving a ship or an aeroplane or a car or a cooking place and lights for one home is making them by a closed circuit of air. Because we are moving the air to move this thing, and you are moving the air to compress the air again to the tank. And for example, if you have in this situation that is a ship 500 bars, you are using 500 bars to move this, and you are using 500 bars to compress the air again. And because to have a movement of the air, you need to go from 100 bars to 50 bars, and after we compress with the 100 bars, the 50 bars to go again to 100. Also, air and electricity is the two things that we can use in a different ways to produce electricity or moving things. I go to show the other one that shows how, oh, let me see if this thing is working. Yes, I think it is. How we show how we transport energy, we compress energy, we send to the storage, and we throw it away to the propellers. And we keep a battery bank that we can keep these batteries full with the energy that you are producing here. Well, in a different way, because to produce all these things, we need another small one to do this. But it's to show how is, because something is free, we don't keep it, we throw it away. But spending energy, but to compress this thing without a cost of money is to compress air again by air, because you are not using electricity to compress after the system is full, is complete. We don't need any more energy. The air can make energy for moving everything by air. I go to the other ones. This one explains how this thing that goes to can go to the Titanic, to visit the Titanic, that is with a high profundity, deep in the ocean. We need 300 bars protection against the sea water. Just what we have here to protect us from the sea water, you are going to have this full of compressed air to protect from the outside. I say, these things are where we can keep air until 380 bars, that we really don't need these things, these values. Well, for a container ship, maybe we need 300,000 or 200,000. For aeroplane, maybe we need 100,000 bars. 100,000, no, 100. For a kitchen, we need 7 or 5 bars. For one person to have energy at home, we need less than 7 bars. To have a car, we don't need more than 7 bars. For all the things you can change anytime, the quantity and the quantities that we need. For this, you need technology to make the accounts. I'm not doing them. This is a picture that who gives the idea to produce electricity by electricity was this situation. I don't know if it was with A or it was with B. What I can say that when we charge, maybe it was with A, because it's amperes. This one is voltage. Anyway, I don't know which one is, because the voltage normally goes to, if it's in a place it's 330 in industrial way, I think it must be amperes. What I knew when we switched the machine to cut chips from wood, this thing was moving from here, I don't know if could be only 500 amperes or 600, I don't know. I just know that it was fast, and it turned out all power, it was going to move much the same, and after went to zero. That I think, like I say, to make electricity by electricity, we need between 1 and 5% reducing. So you are not doing 100% free energy by energy, but you are going to lose between 1 and 5% of the energy that you are going to produce. And it's this thing that gives the idea how we can make something moving after the old work is done of ignition. We just can use a small engine to make it moving, just to keep the speed on. It's a style of engine that is one of them that maybe these engines are good to have air to cool the engine in open space. I had another one I think I showed before. It's just to say, because I think engine for these things must be square, not round, sufficient strong to keep the strength, not moving with any pressure. This is the lights that it was when begins the COVID to protect the things to kill the virus, COVID virus. But I use this kind of lights, or maybe different one with the same thing, to make treatment of the waters from the towns to kill the virus, and after the water is clean, is again going to the rivers. It's a way of to clean water that I think we need to have them for food for the animals and for humans, because you can be contaminated with bird flu or the swine. The swine. This is solar. Solar still keeps very important. First, they don't use copper. I say is one of the cheapest ways to make electricity, and you can have crops at the same time, and improving lands that they are not used for anything, and they can be used for animal feeding. And I think will be very important until we finish with petrol or crude, to have all the situations working. This is a way, when we are doing electricity, for example, in one atomic energy producer, if they are stopped, they still have the parts that make the electricity. And with these things, we can make them moving. And after it's moving in the right movement, we can change from a big engines to put that thing working, the rotation, for a small engine making the movement without stopping. This is the same picture. And if you have that situations for atomic, and because you can stop the coal production too, we need big wheeling gravity batteries. They are cheapest ones, and we can keep big quantities of electricity. Because if you are producing a lot of electricity during the night, you need a place to replace to keep the electricity. And this one is the best system. This is a picture where I prove that it's possible to make electricity with water going down, up. Because this is a system that we use in the forest to move the petrol from the recipient to the saw that was cutting the trees. The person just took the hair in the mouth, because if it one is this thing needs to be without water, and he just put the hair out with his mouth and put this thing down the from where he was taking the petrol, and it begins to fill the deposit. The same thing is what people are using to store diesel from trucks. They steal with these things 200 liters very fast. All the diesel from the truck who are going to be out. They use the same system. Of course, first, I remember the forest, but second, I remember that this situation is done on the roads to store diesel. And it proves that the water can go down, up, and after going up, it goes down. It needs to go, if we begin here to take the water, we need to go down for the water makes movement. I don't know the name, just I know that it works. If it works with 1 centimeter tube, it works with 10 meters tube. Or say, is the way how I can prove that this situation can work. So you can make electricity. Now we don't need it because it's much cheaper than make a dam. We don't need in this situation any dam, just a small space. Or from the sea or in towns between mountains, you can do the same on land or on the sea. Because the idea came from, it was the first idea coming from to make electricity after BID Shell. It was a situation that someone in the United States was compressing steam to send satellites to the space with steam, water steam. The place that we have on Earth with not steam but with pressure is the under of the sea. If you have 100, 200 meters going down, you can take that pressure up because it comes close in a tube and it goes, all that pressure goes from down up. You say you can put the pressure that it's at 200 meters or 100 meters or 50 meters up with the same pressure that we have at beginning or in the sea where we begin to make the moving. I say, it's the natural situation where we have a compress. In this case, it's water that is compressed by the other water, and it can mix because it's in a street space without any contact with, because at the beginning we have 10, I don't know if you say bars, but you have 10 in 10 meters, or in 10 meters you have 1 bar pressure, in 20 meters you have 2 bars pressure. That it means the pressure that is down are going to be up because they don't find any contact with other road. It's just like a tire losing air. Just the air goes through the size of the tire that is open. It was the first idea to make electricity, and is this one that makes the second one electricity by bar, by air, and the third one that is making electricity by electricity. Everything begins in this situation with BID and this situation, and to do the other ways of making. I'll say there are 3 different ways to produce electricity nowadays that are not used. This is the last picture where I finish the last video that I did all this job, but I lost because my phone, I'm doing this with a small phone, and I just lost everything, and I'm doing this again, I think for the first time. But I think this time we are going to be work at least 30 or 40 minutes. This is one way to show how we can protect the soil, and the beginning of the situation where I begin this job. To work with land, we cannot work for another things. And this one, it was to grow crops for cows. that I don't think, at least in China, they don't need, because they can do with bamboo and corn, the dry corn plant, not corn, but the dry corn plant, with, not like with spirulina. That spirulina produced in a place where they have the animals. And this one, it was, but people can use it in the deserts, North Africa, Asia, any part of the world, because this thing can protect the sun, hot and cold. For example, at night, it can protect the cold from the plants, because this thing works during the day and night. This is the engine that is just to show. If you have a car, you use this thing. If you have a car, you can finish with the diesel or petrol cars and having air, producing electricity by air. And for this situation, will be one thing like this one are going to produce electricity for the car, for the batteries that are moving the car. And it's just one idea. Because if you do electricity by air, you need something to transform the electricity and move in the electricity. This thing, like a car, 12 volts or 24, a home needs 12 or 24 with batteries for cooking, for electricity, everything at home, with a deposit, like a gas, a home gas bottle, just they are producing electricity with air. This is a machine, they say is electrical driven super high pressure compressor. I don't know if it's from 750, but today you have these machines with 7 and 50. This one, I don't know if it moves between 7 and 50 or not. I didn't pay much attention of the things. Just I know that it goes to the high pressure. This is one more thing that now is very expensive. But what is done, and you can still doing them. Just if you are going to do electricity by air or by electricity, we need these things must be stopped at night, because you are going to produce a lot of electricity in all the two situations, and these things have a lot of bearings, and bearings have a time of life. If they are stopped at night, you can we can have these things with a double or 3 times the time life that they can work. Is why they are still important to produce, because these things don't have much copper. And okay, they have special minerals, but it's a different way to do electricity, not using so much copper, and still letting the factories who are doing them, producing them. Just they are going to be different in the future. This is, of course, it is bamboo, and it's just to say we can take the green part of bamboo. We are still going to do furniture, and the countries who have big quantities of bamboo or are going to have them in the future, they can have furniture, timber materials, and having the food for the animals. This is a sock. I look for socks like this one. It was not like this. It comes in and was cheaper. Where in the past it was, when I was 10 years old, I still have people using them. And sometimes they are not using them to save them and going without any shoes at all walking. I'm not from that time. I never saw that. But I think I'm 64, or I'll be 64 in St. Peter's Day. But 6 years ago, maybe they walk without them. And it's just to say, if people don't want plastic or rubber, we can use these things again. like you don't need to have roads, you can have with soil. It's just to people are against and plastic. It's a good idea to change life. Is to taking the petrol from the roads and using a different style of shoes. Is a material that is timber, full of glue, very compact. This is one of the maps that I like in my screen because I love this picture. That shows where we have we spend electricity in the world. You see, where Africa don't have many, just a little here. You see, here. Australia just a little here because the rest of the country don't have anything, and we have many here. India, Europe, and the United States. I don't think you see much from Canada, maybe in the north is a white line. I think it's from here, but anyway, Canada don't have so much too, and South America, where you have Amazon here. You see in a different color too, is Amazon. But it shows where we have electricity. South Africa, Madagascar, or see how much lights we have in Madagascar? Quite any. It's a country that needs help. This is a way of making timber in Europe because it's pine. Pine is very soft. It's not too much concentrate. I say with a small 20 centimeters or 15 centimeters, you have the same capacity with compressed bamboo, and that can be done for doing factories, any places that we need to construct with bamboo. We can change iron from bamboo. This is a picture that what I'm speaking to you is salt water. In this situation is sweet water here. But it's just today between, for example, in South America, in the Pacific, Indic Ocean, is a lot of mountains and deserts. And you can use salt water for fish and not algae, salt water algae. So if you can keep salt fish that it's algae, you can have full production for algae, for animal or human feed, and for fish, without to use anything else. This is very Portuguese, is the style of material we do. Soft in the middle, more concentrated on the top and bottom. That is not too expensive, but just to say, this thing is full of glue. Because we don't make natural timber here. We glue all small parts to make it compact. This is ash that can be done from coal, burning coal and using it after in the agriculture. Of course, that we need to know what are in that kind of coal, what kind of land we need, but small quantities can be done in many situations with good improvement of the soils and place where we have trees, because these things keep the water inside. This is Australia. It was the first time before the salt water, they were thinking to move sweet water from the rivers to the deserts. But it's not possible because the evaporation in the deserts are going to take all the water, evaporate. One more situation will be salt water. Of course, that there is, they can do that. They can have crops, cereals, but I make with the changing of weather, all the countries need to have food produced in their countries, because things can get very bad in one year, and people are not going to sell food to other countries if they need it. It's important to have that part in attention in the future. The picture is funny because these things are done to protect against strong windows. If a strong windows is coming in Asia, for example, or southern United States, they begin to have the same problem. They just put the trees down to protect them, and after they will put them up again. This is a map of China that is part that I enjoy to see, and is the map of China, Saline, and Soudic land. I begin to think in this situation here. I didn't know that they have so much damage place here. But anyway, it was the beginning of my work to make food for cows to produce milk in these regions with aquaponics. Anyway, with water from the river that are going to be sprayed or putting on the bottom to make crops. I've said before how to do them. There is another situation, is to, if the lands are very, like I saw some, like rubber moving, when you walk like a sponge, there is another way, is to put big quantities of sand. They have a lot of sand here in the north. If they mix sand with that kind of land, will be soft. Is a way to open the soil, is with sand. Yes, is part of Egypt, because in these situations I think a lot of times of Egypt is a growing population, a big population, and just have life on the river, for towns or in front of the sea. And this is Qatar Sea. Appears another picture with another place that we can have water, salt water, because the soils are ready with the salt water, with the soil with the salt. But that is just to say, in these situations, when we do that, are going to change of the weather. I have a picture in the future works where I go to show in Portugal, because 30 kilometers away from the town where I live now, Évora, it changed absolutely the weather. Now the weather is much soft, it's not so hot, like it was in the past that we could not live there, because things change the weather, gives humidity for the night not to be so much cold. That is a problem of the deserts, because the lack of humidity makes very cold at night and is very hot during the day. Are going to change all the climate, day and night. And if you let the water go through the sands after, you are going to have in this part water, not salty, not sweet, but like we have in the front of the seas that you use for life. I did that when I was small in the seafront in my country. This is a picture of cow urine. I think it's from India. Anyway, some people think it's very good. It don't make any better too, but it's one urine can be one way of taking for duckweed. Duckweed don't like water moving, and spirulina likes light and alkaline water. Is just to say, cow urine, if it's done or taken from a cow, like I lived 3 or 4 years, with the wall, you can take the urine and discharge the urine clean without any problem. You just need to have a few cows to produce urine for another things, urine pure. This is the place where I was going to spend holidays, not far away. That is sand. It's in the middle. One side have salt water, the other side have salt water, but they have crops. It's a fine region, Aveiro, because it's a salty region with agriculture and with sand that can be studied for people who want to know much about that. I don't know, because I don't know anything from there now. This is deserts. I say it's one person with clothes from Arabic clothes, but it's just to say that you can use some of these mountains to have fish and algae, to cultivate algae and fish. It's a very fun. I did 1 year ago. It was how many people we have in the world, and was in Pakistan and Bangladesh, under 70 to under 35 is near the population of the United States. Although these countries that no one knows can have a lot of people. It's not interesting, it's where I live in the past. That is me 1 year ago. I'm still in this situation now. I have this part here like is here. I have some in here. My is red too. It is exactly, I am exactly like I was 1 year ago with the treatment of cancer for lungs. Now is I'm not going to live more than a certain time because the lungs I'm not going. I was operated once for small things, but they reappear again, and I'm not going to do any more operation because it was for 1 day. I spent 1 week, and I have to spend 1 week because it took time to close the hair from the lungs. I say for now, for me, it's impossible to stop the cancer in my lungs. Sistivet, Laza, that is a very nice picture, not in this way, but it's a very nice picture that I like. This is urine with some ash that makes a big difference on the things here, and things now are much green and properly in the soil. I say urine for people or house, the ladies who like flowers, they can have a mat to get a pee, concentrate here, and to use. And it's better to see in the internet how urine works, because it's very cheap and you can have very nice flowers. This is a house that, I say, 4 years ago when I began to get interested in aquaponics and a simple way of producing houses. And I begin to get interested again with the BID shell. Is, for example, electric station. We can have that very simple with the solar panels in the top, and these things can be glass or glass to make electricity. We call solar panels that can be imitation of a glass. Different colors from plastic or acrylic. Just the floor without to be cement, but you can have plastic and sand to make 40 by 40 or 50 by 50 squares to use on the soil, to use damaged plastic. And there are different ideas, and it was what I begin to get interested to use new materials to have in a situation that people can see in a station to charge the cars. This is one way. I have lots of pictures about this, but this shows a properly soil. You can produce what we want with a specific soil made by us that can produce different things. This is sand. It was colors of land that I got the idea of to make tables, plastic tabletops with sand with different colors. This is, we cannot see it, but it is not a good picture, but it shows the quality of the soil if you use manure. This is for chickens, free space. But why? I think the first the thing it was from this YouTuber. That is why soil is dying. It was from innovative tech, and it's all of maneuver is important to the land. It shows here how we destroy trees without thinking in our future or in our planet. We are destroying all the planet because the quantities of forests you have Amazon and the Republic of Congo. Let's say we have two countries with big forests. The rest of the forests we are destroying everything. One day we don't have oxygen to breathe on the land because we want to kill everything that is possible. Is a innovative text where the soil rapidly dying. Is why palm tree in Africa, a corridor north and south to make oil is very important to develop in Africa. It's a different kind of rose. I find very funny because it's from Dubai. After they put fuse on the top, but is one way that many countries can use roads because are going to improve roads without to use. It's a nice video. I don't see how we can see because I didn't pay much attention in this situation. Is here. Is a little strange. I don't know. Is Baal Fatal. But in many places, Africa and South America is in a way to make roads that can be stronger than anything else. It's a map of China, and Tarim Basin is one region with salt water that now is producing a lot of things in salt water. Obviously, salt water is far away from the sea, but can be used inside of a country too, like China are using it. It's the rivers. I took these rivers to see the Yellow River and the Yangtze. And this one river takes 40% or 40 or 45% of the water from all China are in this river. Is why the dams for electricity are for electricity, but are for controlling a river that moves 45 of the water in China, in the rain, in the rivers. One more, this is American style. The water of Yellow River, I think is a very important water and can be used for more things from aquaponics. I forget the name. You have one water we were using with fish and without fish. Is without fish in these situations that you can use water to produce a lot of vegetables and in the bad lands. I think we have seen this one or another. This is ships from, I think it's from pine, but you can have these parts going in the forest when you are cleaning the bamboo, and it will be dry, and after making like flour for the animal feed. It's not this one. There are another one more. Is this one here? Because I think the Qatar depression, I was thinking that I don't remember the other one if it was here or here. Anyway, just to say, this depression from the sea can change all the weather in one region if you send seawater to them and change all the atmospheric in the Asian, in the deserts, and good for desert sun because the sun are going to stop the salt moving in the water until the water is like a filter. And we can coconut have trees in that places where we can have trees for camels part of these parts here can be to do the name, I forget the name, or in Portuguese or English I just forget what it is. That you can fiber. You can do fiber for clothes or other things, and you can make these parts for how we say for to change to use with maneuver mix to have more trees or to give to the camels because camels eat everything. If with more duckweed and spirulina, they can eat everything. I say the north we don't see much here because this picture, the Republic of Congo, this is the Ecuador line here. This is the Ecuador line. How you see from the Ecuador line up, you don't have so much big forests because they are in the Republic of Congo. After the Republic of Congo, trees are disappearing. I say, is this part that with other one like in India they are doing with palm tree and animal and other products from agriculture that they need to live. And salt water here, you can change absolutely the deserts in Africa. This picture I took it for using backlit because you have two different ways of using backlit. Like sand, that I showed before, the big things that we can put sauce after we sand that sand with the rubber, or with a resin mix. With the resin mix, things are very strong. I say the tires, the top of the tires can have two different constructions. If it's with the resin, we need to have different ways of to give security because resin will be very hard. Say sand from backlit is one thing is easy because it's two products mixed and they are not chemical together. But with resin it makes together. But both of situations are good. And if you use them, you just need to have different things to move to give the security of the tire. So you need a different way of producing tires on the top for having one tire 6 times more, between 1 to 5 times more on the road. That's why this thing must be changed because you are improving cars for electricity and you are reducing the times and you spend rubber for breathing and to having the towns everywhere. Because you are producing tires with the same quality than a car for high speeds. You do cars, rubber for cars that can go to 140 or 200 kilometers per hour, when in the towns you are using 40. Let's say all the trucks and buses that are moving in one town make spending rubber. You see the quantities that you are using in rubber and spending in tires. Maybe one small producer are going to be interested in this if the states don't pay any attention of that situation. They don't want diesel cars, but we can have rubber with electricity. This is another way. This is sport shoes for footballs and sport for running. You see, it's different from the normal ones, but it's just to say how to make traction on the road. It's different from a normal one. This is my picture from the sun this holotype that I use because I like this picture. When it's small, it's very nice. This is alcohol that can be from Catos. I forget every time names of everything. The Mexican have a lot without taste, the Catos, and where they take the tequila. Tequila, we can have the drink with alcohol, you can have the leaves to make fiber, and you can have the inside, you can make shower products, beauty products, drinking products. So Catos you don't need only to be the Mexicans, you can use the Catos in at least 3 different ways. I show this part for the country that I think is rich in bamboo. As you see, we have many ways of bamboo in this country. That means for cows, camels, chicken. You have bamboo for all of them. We don't need to import animal feed to give to them. Bamboo, corn plant, dry, and spirulina, and seaweed, and duckweed is enough to stop the improving of using soya, but you can use soya in bread, because prices from wheat to soya are very different. If one of the things that I have is really true, we don't need to make bread only with wheat. We have soya to make, and with soya you have a full protein. With wheat we don't have. Another map of the world, I have many. This picture shows where we have water, but the land is not good for anything, for cereals, for anything. You can have trees. You just have the right manure from humans and animals together with residual trees or cleaning from the forests or from crops, mixed with a certain style of soil, and all together you can choose the kind of trees adequate for the region, for having the right soil for it. You make a wall, and we put a new soil with manure, a new soil, prepared to have trees for what we want to produce. Because with that we can have in different parts of the countries different trees if we prepare the soil for them in places that we don't have anything there now. Isolated places in the world. Europe, I'm European. Europe is one of them too, like North Africa. And we are not paying enough attention to the water. Another thing, I'm European, I can't complain about that. I stop for now the electricity, and I come to a place where people don't complain about plastic, but this road can have plastic or is made with the same material. Or say, if you don't like plastic, we don't want roads, you need to have soil in front of our house. And I finish from now. Thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye.